Okay, so we are reading the section where Arjun was asking Krishna to clarify whether he should choose the path of renunciation and not fight, or should he actually participate in fighting. And Krishna is explaining to Arjun that how in different situations one has to incorporate uh, different strategies. And he was mentioning about Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. And he was encouraging Arjuna how he must not think that giving up his duty will prevent him from getting reactions. The reactions will come either way. If he does his duty, then accordingly reactions will come. If he does not do his duty, then he will get the reactions of that. So nobody can stay without doing their duty or being inactive. Work will need to be done. Even if you renounce, still you will have to act in a certain manner and conduct yourself in a certain manner, and that particular conduct of yours will give you reactions. So, what is the best thing? He mentioned in the ninth shloka that when you do work, do it as a yagya or a sacrifice to Lord Vishnu. And then you can stay away from this cycle where you get entangled in karmic bondage. And then Krishna is explaining it's not just directly to Krishna, but the process is that we even have to be cooperative and engaging with the representatives of Krishna who come in the form of devatas or demigods. Now, devatas or demigods are uh, in charge of different, you can say, services. And even though God or Krishna, he doesn't need them, but at the same time, he engages them. And you see that even in different other religion, there is some mention about these. If you see, there are Greek uh, mythologies in which there are different gods which are displayed, and even in Islam or Christianity, there is mention of those who may be the angels, or they may be those who are messengers who are coming. So, like that, there is uh, an understanding that God also have his own agents who are engaged in a certain service or a certain activity. So in the previous shloka which we discussed, the ninth and the 10th shloka were talking about, especially in the ninth shloka, Krishna is encouraging work done as a sacrifice to Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, for the satisfaction of Lord. And that way you will always remain free from bondage. And then in the 10th shloka, he is mentioning in the beginning of the creation how both men and demigods, they are actually given this chance, because we have, so in the beginning of the creation, we have this enjoying mentality that we have to enjoy, and this is keeping us in this material world because we want to enjoy material things. But if we transform this by the prescribed method and engage in enjoying along with the Lord in spiritual realm, then that would actually bring us in association with Lord. We don't have to actually stay and suffer in the material world. But right now we do have a tendency of enjoying material things, and therefore the process is okay. So transform this by engaging in yagya or sacrifice to Lord Vishnu, and by this way you can be staying happy by the sacrifice, by the yagna, and it will bestow upon you everything which is desirable, living happily and achieving liberation. Now, when you are doing this, in this 11th shloka, the Lord will tell that how the demigods or the devatas, they will be pleased by these yagya and they will please you, and by this cooperation between men and the devatas, it will bring prosperity. So we'll read, we'll recite the Sanskrit and we'll discuss this more in more detail. So please, you can repeat after me each line. We'll do call and response. देवान् भावयतानेन
देवान् भावयात तेन तनेन
ते देवा भावयन्तु वा
ते
ते
देवा
देवा भावयन्तु वा
परस्परं भावयन्ता
परस्परं
परस्परं
भावयन्तः
भावयन्ता
श्रेया परमवाप्स्यथा.
श्रेया
श्रेया
परमवाप्स्यथा।
परमवाप्स्यता.
Any volunteers who would like to read the translation?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. Purport: the demigods are empowered administrators of material affairs. The supply of air, light, water, and all other benedictions for maintaining the body and soul of every living entity is entrusted to the demigods, who are innumerable assistants in different parts of the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Their pleasure and displeasure are dependent on the performance. Sorry, I lost it. Are dependent on the performance of yagnas by the human body. Some of the yagnas are meant to satisfy particular demigods, but even in so doing, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in all yagnas as the chief beneficiary. It is stated also in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself is the beneficiary of all kinds of yagnas. Bhoktaram yagna tapasyam. Therefore, ultimate satisfaction of the Yagnapati is the chief purpose of all yagnas. When these yagnas are perfectly performed, naturally the demigod in charge of the different department of supply are pleased, and there is no scarcity in the supply of natural products. Performance of yagnas has many side effects, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. By performance of yagnas, all activities become purified, and it is stated in the Vedas, Ahara Sudhau Sattva Sudhau Dhruva Smriti Lambhe Sarva Granthanam Vipramoksha. By performance of yagna, one's established being becomes one's eatables become sanctified, and by eating sanctified foodstuff, one's very existence becomes purified. By the purification of existent, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified, and when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation, and all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present day society. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much for reading. Okay. So, even though there is one God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is a beautiful name for the Lord. Krishna means one who attracts everyone. So, God is so beautiful that he attracts everyone. Just the other day, um, one of our friends was mentioning that they had a Spanish or American person who visited their home, and they happened to see this beautiful image of Krishna, and then they're like, who is this? That person is so beautiful. And just started to ask about the person. So Krishna is so beautiful that he attracts everyone. Anything thing which is beautiful is just a very small fraction of the beauty of Krishna. So this is a beautiful name, Krishna, all attractive. Now, he has this uh, whole arrangement where he engages the living entities in various engagements or service. And there are so many services which are needed to conduct the functioning of the universe. Just like a country has so many different departments which are headed by the president or the prime minister, and then there are ministers of the different cabinets. They're different in charge. There could be a defense minister, or there could be a finance minister, or there could be a foreign minister. And these are different ministers. They are under the president or the prime minister. Similarly, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, He is the ultimate. But based on the desire of living entities, some living entities do get a chance to become these ministers, like Lord Indra. He is the rain minister in one sense. He keeps the whole account of rain in different regions. We have water minister Varun Dev. We have Agni Dev as fire minister. So like that, they are in charges of different departments. And Lord Brahma is the creator. He is the head of even Lord Indra. So like that, these different personalities are engaged. And Krishna here is not saying that we should disrespect them. He said we have to cooperate. And by showing respect to these personalities, we are actually showing respect to the Vedic culture as well as to the Lord Himself, the Supreme Lord. So in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning demigods are empowered administrators of material affairs. So they are the administrators. So air, light, water, all the other activities, they are administered by them. And they are innumerable assistants in different parts of the body of the Supreme Lord. So basically, the Virat Roop is showing how Lord is in, so how material, one can see the Lord in material things also. Like we'll see in the 11th chapter, there is a description of the universal form or the Virat Roop. And then in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is also description of the Virat Roop. So there are different kinds of Virat Roop or universal forms which are there for the Lord. And basically they help people to understand that Lord is not ordinary. Sometimes it is mentioned that the sun and the moon are like the eyes of the Lord, which means that even at the day and night, both the times, Lord is watching you, whatever you may be doing. The mountains or the trees, they are sometimes addressed as just a part of the body of the Lord, just like the huge trees are just like small hairs. So things like that are basically, description like that is just to make people aware that even in from the material standpoint, if you see, the Lord can be appreciated and He is huge, He is Maha, He is not ordinary. So here the representation is coming in the form of how the different demigods are assistants in different parts of the Supreme Lord, in the body of the Supreme Lord. Their pleasures and displeasures are dependent on the performance of yajna by the human being. So many times we have sacrifices or the yajnas where even the demigods are actually respected and worshipped. So many times you'll see some people, they may do a yajna or a particular worship of Lord Shiva or Lord Ganesh or Mother Durga. So these are different demigods, but when you are seeing their worship, many times to establish even the Kalash, they will be chanting of the mantras for the Supreme Lord. Om Keshwaya Namaha, Om Madhvaya Namaha, Narayana Namaha, like that, there will be recitation of mantras where the Lord will also be worshipped. So this is structured in such a way that along with the worship of the demigods, the worship of the Lord is also there, and vice versa. Sometimes the worship of the Lord may have the primary deity of worship may be Lord uh, Krishna or Vishnu or Narayan, but sometimes Lord Ganesh may be worshipped prior to that. Um, so that is showing that the worship of the demigods is in accordance with the scriptures, but demigods are never considered same on the level of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So that is what people landed up missing out. So here it is mentioned that if this is happening in cooperation and yajna and sacrifices are performed for the demigods, and demigods in turn will bless the living entities, and this way one can cooperate. But one must understand that Bhoktaram, ultimate enjoyer of all the sacrifices, is the Supreme Lord. And when we try to please the Supreme Lord Vishnu, the demigods are also very happy, and we are also very happy and satisfied. So here it is mentioned that ultimate satisfaction of Yajnapati is the chief purpose of all yajnas. So that must be in the back of our minds. And proper performance of yajnas actually bring auspiciousness, and this way there is no scarcity in supply of natural products. In the last paragraph, Prabhupada is saying performance of yajna has many benefits and some side benefits, and it leads to liberation from material bondage. Eventually, when we keep doing this, it leads to liberation. And in the Vedas, this is the Vedic shloka: Ahar Shuddho Sattva Shuddhi. Sattva Shuddho Dhruva Smriti. Smriti Labhe Sarva Granthinam Vipra Moksha. So, Ahar Shuddha, if we have pure Ahar, if one's eatables become sanctified or purified, then by eating sanctified food stuff, our existence becomes purified. Ahar Shuddho Sattva Shuddhi. And by this purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory becomes sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation, and all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present day society. So this purification is what is needed. So just imagine if people are pure and uh, following the process, there will actually be no crimes, because now the people are pure, they want to do good things. So much money is actually wasted in crime prevention, so much energy resources are utilized in crime prevention. So if people are trained in this way, then we can minimize criminals. Similarly, we can minimize all the intoxication, gambling, meat eating, these kind of things are leading to a lot of problems. Especially if you see a lot of people in the influence of intoxication are causing problems to others, to their families, to themselves, because they don't understand what is good, what is bad. So when they are sanctified, they are purified, their memories become uh, sharp, and their senses become satisfied, they will actually be able to relish um recreations which are in the mode of goodness. And this can happen when we engage in yajna. And the best yajna in Kali Yuga, the recommended yajna is the Hare Krishna Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So like this, there are different recommendations for yajnas in different yugas. So Kari for Kali Yuga, it's the Harinam Sankirtan Yajna which is recommended. There will be more elaboration of this in subsequent shlokas, so we can read those and have more discussion. But if anybody has any pressing questions on this shloka, we can take it right now. Okay, we'll continue then. Ishtan bhogan hi wo deva. Ishtan
Ishtan
Ishan Bhogan Hi Wo
Bodhideva
Deva
dasyante yajna bhavita.
Dasyante
Dasyate
Yajna
Dasyate
Bhavita
Yajna
Bhavita
Tair dattan apradayabhyo.
Sardattan
Tadatta
Apradayabhyo
Apradayabhyo
Yo bhongte stena eva sa.
Yo
Yo
bhukti
Bhuktante
stena
Yobhukti
eva
Stena
sa.
Devasa.
Devasa.
Okay, who will read the translation for this one?
Haribol, I can read.
Please. Thank you.
Translation. In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yagna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. Purport. The demigods are authorized supplying agents on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Therefore, they must be satisfied by the performance of prescribed yagnas. In the Vedas, there are different kinds of yagnas prescribed for different kinds of demigods, but all are ultimately offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For one who cannot understand what the personality of Godhead is, sacrifice to the demigods is recommended. According to the different material qualities of the persons concerned, different type of yagnas are recommended in the Vedas. Worship of different demigods is also on the same basis, namely, according to different qualities. For example, the meat eaters are recommended to worship the goddess Kali, the ghastly form of material nature, and before the goddess, the sacrifice of animals is recommended. But for those who are in the mode of goodness, the transcendental worship of Vishnu is recommended. But ultimately, all yagnas are meant for gradual promotion to the transcendental position. For ordinary men, at least 5 yagnas, known as Pancha Mahayagna, are necessary. One should know, however, that all the necessities of life that the human society requires are supplied by the demigod agents of the Lord. No one can manufacture anything. Take, for example, all the eatables of human society. These eatables include grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, sugar, etc. for the persons in the mood of goodness, and all the eatables for the non vegetarians, like meats, none of which can be manufactured by men. Then again, take for example heat, light, water, air, etc., which are also necessities of life. None of them can be manufactured by the human society. Without the Supreme Lord, there can be no profuse sunlight, moonlight, rainfall, breeze, etc., without which no one can live. Obviously, our life is dependent on supplies from the Lord. Even for our manufacturing enterprises, we require so many raw materials like metal, sulfur, mercury, manganese, and so many essentials, all of which are supplied by the agents of the Lord, with the purpose that we should make proper use of them to keep ourselves fit and healthy for the purpose of self realization, leading to the ultimate goal of life, namely, liberation from the material struggle for existence. This aim of life is attained by performance of yagnas. If we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agents of the Lord for sense gratification and become more and more entangled in material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves, and therefore we are punished by the laws of material nature. A society of thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. The gross materialist thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed to sense gratification, nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yagnas. Lord Chaitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yagna, namely Sankirtana yagna, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accept the principles of Krishna consciousness. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Okay, so here the focus is that once the living entities are doing the sacrifice, the demigods and the living entities, they are in cooperation. They will offer the sacrifice to demigods, and demigods will in turn provide what is necessary for the living entities, and this way they can enjoy without actually um, being selfish, right? They are doing yagyas and then they are actually getting the gifts for enjoying, and they won't be like thieves, right? If we are not offering it and we are taking for the resources without offering them, then it's like being a thief who is just taking things without the permission of the owner or the proprietor. So similarly, Supreme Lord is the original proprietor, and his chosen agents, the demigods, devatas, or living entities, are the supplying agents on the behalf of the Supreme Lords. So here in purport, Prabhupada is explaining that they must be satisfied by yagyas, the demigods and the Supreme Lord, and that's the recommendation. So worship of different demigods may need different kinds of yagyas or sacrifices, and it also depends on one's propensity. So those who are in the mode of ignorance and may have addiction to intoxication, meat eating, and things of that nature, they are also not told that, hey, just stop it, go away. No, because these things are not something which can change, in a short notice. So in the Vedic culture, there is provision for them also, that okay, you have certain propensities, there is a way to actually advance for you. How? So there is an arrangement where Mother Kali, she takes the form of the goddess. Kali is taken a form where one can offer, but one has to follow the scriptures. Unfortunately, these days people don't follow the scriptures. They don't see what are the recommended ways in which one who eat meat can also do so by offering it to goddess Kali. So when we see the form of goddess Kali, she is not showing her beautiful form. She is showing a form where she is like death personified. She'll be, very, very with all the different weapons, and a look where she's very angry and all of these things. So this is the form which is there, and they have to do an animal sacrifice in a certain manner. So you see, animal sacrifice in all religions, it has to be done in a certain way. Like in Jews, they have something like kosher, or in Muslims, they have something like halal. So similarly, in Hindus also there are certain rules and regulations. So and these are meant for non-vegetarian food. Why? Because they want to restrict violence. They know, and the scriptures know, that the people have propensity towards this. So those who do have some propensity, they have to be regulated. They can't do it indiscriminately by opening slaughterhouses and having KFCs and all of these. This is not according to any scripture. In fact, in Christianity, it is clearly one of the commandments says, "Thou shalt not kill." And people have totally modified it. And so many other sections of the scriptures, they keep modifying whatever they don't want to follow. And that way, they spoil the original teachings. But the recommended method is to follow it in a way which is given in the scriptures. So those who are in the mode of goodness, they are recommended to worship Lord Vishnu. He is the Yagya Purusha. And for ordinary men, 5 yagyas, Panch Mahayagya, are necessary. Prabhupada is explaining here. Ultimately, we must understand that the necessities of life, they start with food. That is the basic thing. When the child is born, the child is putting everything in the mouth, because that is the uh, Annamaya stage, where the food, that is the first stage, and that's the most important need for ordinary living entities like us. So food could be certain foodstuffs like which the vegetarians take, or there could be others which the non-vegetarian take. Either way, both of these you need the nature to provide. We cannot ourselves manufacture them, and we need air to breathe, water to drink, heat, light, all these basic things. Everything is provided by the Lord, and we have agents who are administrators under the supreme arrangement of the Lord, who are taking each of these activities and taking charge of them. Even we may say we have factories and we have manufactured so many things, but what about the raw materials? They all come from Mother Earth, from the nature, from the supply of the different agents of the Supreme Lord, who are the demigods. So we have to always be expressing our gratitude to them. If we are just taking from Mother Earth, that is like thief. So you express your gratitude by yagyas, by performing specific duties, and it has to be done according to scriptures, according to the recommendations. That way, one can stay happy, and one can actually enjoy also, and it'll bring satisfaction. So the yajnas are very complicated, and different time periods there are different yajnas recommended. So in Satyuga, the recommended yajna was meditation. So people would meditate for many, not just hours, but days, weeks, and months, and years. So that was how strong these people were in being able to meditate. They could meditate for a long time. So that was Satyuga. They had very long life. In Treta Yuga, the recommendation was fire yagya, havan or homa, these things, and that needed very pure ingredients, pure samagri, pure ghee. The cows have to be, taken care very nicely, and the yagya had to be performed by certain priests and certain brahmans who were very well trained. And certain yagyas, they were able to just light the fire by mantras, and they used to, by chanting of mantras, they used to have ashwamedha yagya, where the horse will actually die just by chanting a mantra, and it will, at the end of the yagya, a new horse with a beautiful body will come up. So this way the animal will actually get rejuvenated into a young body, and the priests, they were able to use their powers of doing the yagya, and it will be a proof that the yagya happened very nicely if the animal is actually brought back to life. So like this, there were very powerful yagyas. We don't have those kind of priests and those kind of ingredients and everything to take care in this Kali Yuga. So in Dwapar Yuga, it was deity worship, Archa Vigraha Seva. So many of the temples which were built in Dwapar Yuga and beautiful deities were established. They were worshipped very in a proper manner. So the temples would have their own gardens, they will have special food which is only grown for the deities, and they will be offered to the deities, and then prasad will be distributed, and the elaborate seva will be there. So these things have also become very difficult in Kali Yuga. We can't really have such pure and elaborate deity worship. So finally, in Kali Yuga, and it is difficult already to do all the above three things. So the recommended yajna is Harinam Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is one of the mantras which does not have much rules and regulations to follow and can be chanted, because in Kali Yuga people cannot follow too many rules regulations. No, very difficult for us. So Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, has made it very easy for us. He said, just chant the names of God. And these names are so purifying. All the energy and potency of the Lord is within these names. And if we are able to meditate on these, chant, recite, and hear the glories of the Lord, talk about the teachings of the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and so on, then this in itself will purify us. So, this is Harinam Sankirtan or Sankirtan Yagya, where we chant the glories of the Lord, do the Kirtan, we speak about the greatness of the Lord, and we actually share the joy with others. So, this Harinam Sankirtan Yagya is the recommendation for this age of Kali. And if we follow this Yagya, then that would actually give us the benefit of all the other yagyas which we are not able to follow, which we may not be able to do so elaborately. And this will be the offering of our love and gratitude towards the Lord. Okay, so we'll stop here. Anybody has any questions from what we discussed today?
Prabhuji, I don't know if it's ask or say,
Yes,
but
please.
when you are saying that for the deity to, for to worship the deity, we have in that times there were pure food, pure ghee, pure everything. We isn't the Krishna temples or the ISKCON temples actually following that? They
Yes, so
have their own cows,
ISKCON
they have their
temples,
own milk. Hmm.
certainly, ISKCON temples are setting an example of how that should be, but it is very difficult because it needs a lot of funds, lot of you know um, resources, and we are actually not able to come to that standard which is needed. But still, you're absolutely correct that ISKCON temples are one of the rare examples where this is very nicely being practiced, and you have one of them in UK, right? The Bhakti
Yes, yes.
Manor, and we have a few here in US, Gita Nagari, New Vrindavan, a few others actually, and even in India there are a lot of farms. So certainly these farm communities, they are very exemplary. Cow protection is emphasized here. They are doing agriculture. All this, milk from cows and the agriculture products are used for deities. That's absolutely correct. But it's not being done for every single deity by all the temples which are there, because it is just not how people have been able to get that training. But that's how is the recommendation to do it properly.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, anybody else?
I do have a comment.
Please.
So first of all, I thought that your explanation for this controlled form of animal killing in different religion, including in Hinduism, was very meaningful. For example, you said that there is halal, there is kosher, and then in Hindus also they do in following proper procedure before they kill the animals. But what we see in today's world is that the over consumerism is a problem, and when even these procedures get abused, so how do we negotiate that, and what Gita has to offer for that?
Yeah, so that's a very practical and important question. The best would be if we can focus on vegetarianism, because in vegetarian we will not have to deal with doing all the specific yagyas. And actually, Janmari next shloka not just talks about very vegetarianism, but takes it beyond. So I'll just read the translation for this, and this could be a little bit of an answer to your question, but also is going to take at the highest level. So I'll read this translation. So it's talking about now devotees. Okay, so Krishna told how the yajna has to be done and what devotees do who are surrendered or who are taken shelter of the Lord, what they do. So here it is mentioned the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins. So all kinds of sins. He's not saying just one sin or any sin, it'll actually go away. How? Because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. So all the food which is actually prepared with a mindset of engaging in service of Vishnu or giving as an offering to Vishnu, that is what is called as offered first for sacrifice. And then the Lord is saying, one who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment, verily eat only sin. So what happens is any food we are doing, whether vegetarian or non-vegetarian, we are actually going to get karma. Now, vegetarian food, we will have very little karma as compared to non-vegetarian food, where we'll have lot of karma, negative karma. Why negative karma? Because any pain or any discomfort to any other living entity will come back to us. So what to do? You do the same thing. If you cook something, you cook it at home, just offer in front of Krishna. And even easier is to offer in front of Lord Chaitanya, because Lord Chaitanya is the form of Krishna who is very merciful, very forgiving. So he's Krishna, but he came in Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, when Krishna and Balram they came, their name is Gaur Nitai or Lord Chaitanya or Nityananda, and they are very forgiving. Even if we make mistakes, no problem. They forgive. So if we offer whatever we are offering, if we cook whatever we are cooking, or if we get sweets from the market, or if we do preparation of sweets at home or any fruits we get from the market, just do one thing: put some tulsi, put in front of Lord Chaitanya or Gaur Nitai, and then pray to them that this is, a humble offering from me, please accept it. So just doing that one activity will actually take away the karma which may be there with the food, and it will take away the karma which we already are engaged in suffering. So there are a lot of stories engaged with the power of prasadam. So one time there was a lady, and she was telling to a saint that how her husband is addicted to drinking and gambling and all the other things, and he is, becoming very irresponsible at home, and he's not doing, his duties properly and not having, proper job. So this saintly person, he told this lady was a devotee, she was chanting, and he said, make sure that you make nice prasadam, offer it to Lord and give it to him, and I will pray for both of you. And they did it, and within 2 to 3 years the husband completely changed. The husband had given up all the wrong activities, and he became completely transformed. But she made sure that he ate whatever is offered to the Lord. So like this we can see there are so many other examples of people who changed this one thing, and that affected the consciousness. And this is what is mentioned even previously here. If we see that how uh, in the 10th shlok 11th shloka we were reading, right? Ahar shuddho sattva shuddhi, sattva shuddho dhruva smriti, smriti labdhva sarva granthinam vipramoksha. That performance of yajna, once eatables become sanctified. So when we offer the food is sanctified. When we eat the sanctified food, then we become purified. Our finer tissues in the memory, in the brain, all of them actually become purified, because now the pure food is being consumed. There is a saying, you are what you eat. So if we consume this kind of a food which is offered to the Lord, our consciousness gets transformed. Therefore, when you visit temple, make sure you take prasad, you take food. Sometimes people think prasad means just little bit, but actually everything which we eat or consume, if it is all prasadam, then we will be free from the attack of all the negativity. So it takes time, but this is the best recommendation. And sometimes it may not be feasible or possible to do this at every place at every time. So I used to be in my medical college when I first came across this, and I was wondering how should I implement, because I did no cooking, and I was in a place where I could not even cook. So I would just eat whatever is there in the mess. And mess, the word itself explains that it was all mess, right? But I started to pray that
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this situation where I can't offer this, but I would love to offer to you what I'm eating. And like this I would pray before each meal. And I was very surprised how my life changed within a couple of years. And after that, um, all the opportunities I was getting was giving me prasadam only. Like even if I'm traveling, or if I'm at a different place where can't even imagine that I will have prasadam, even in those places Krishna was arranging something or the other. So like this, when we take one step towards advancing in spirituality, towards God, towards Krishna, Krishna will take 1,000 steps towards us, and one of his steps are much bigger than our steps. So that is what I can share. Does it answer your question?
Thank you. Very nice explanation and very connecting as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the nice question. Any other questions anybody has? So this shloka we'll discuss in detail next week. So I think for today we'll end here. Thank you very much everybody for joining.